Well, ladies and gentlemen, another season and the same old crap yet again. Jesus, honestly, I genuinely thought we were in for something different this year with Derek McInnes. I thought maybe we would turn a new leaf, we would finally get things right under the new ownership. Of course, they had that first season where they were just, they probably made the wrong appointment in Russell Martin. It couldn't have got worse than we started the season last year, but we're well on course to probably do the same here. A draw and two defeats to start off Derek McInnes' reign as Rangers manager. And again, it's just the same old talking points as last year. We can do any old match reaction from last season and stick it for that game. It's just shite. We are crap. It's just, we were cursed. We are genuinely cursed. So the news we heard prior to the game was, of course, Chimiti was subject to a club record fee from Galatasaray, £22 million, 25 million euros, and Rangers actually denied it. Now, again, I like the club not wanting to sell our players for on the cheap and all the rest of it, but still, despite in the big games, I've never really seen what Chimiti offers. He's not really a striker you can hang your hat on, in all honesty. Kind of reminds me of Dessers a little bit. Yes, a little bit more clinical, I suppose, in the bigger games. But for me, I don't think he's a guy you can hang your hat on week in, week out. Especially for Rangers. He's not like an Alfredo or anyone like that we've had in the past, Chris Boyes, etc., etc. So I would have been all over that fee, and I would have sold him to try and get some more players in through the door. Because what the hell has this recruitment been so far for Rangers in this summer? It's been absolutely shocking. It really has, and I've kind of kept quiet. I wanted to not jump the gun like I did last year with regard to Russell Martin, but it's been pretty underwhelming, hasn't it? I knew we weren't prepared going into that game against Dundee United, just the signings that we had made. I just didn't feel like we had a squad that was capable at this point of winning the title, and I've been proved right yet again. Some shocking performance last week at Tannadice. Pretty poor again in Poland, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt. It was an away game. We were playing in humidity, etc., etc. However, coming to that game at Ibrox, you're expecting our first home game of the season. You're expecting us to go out there and actually do something, put on a show and do something. But I don't see anything different from what Derek McInnes has brought in compared to what we were seeing last season. It's shocking. There's no quality. Defense, we look like we're all over the place. That's one thing. But no one can create. No one can create chances for our strikers. We've got 4 strikers on the books, 3 right now. One possibly could have tore his ACL and may be out for a considerable amount of time. But we don't score goals. It's the same crap. Nadiri, I was kind of like, optimistic of his signing in January, but he's shocking as well. I mean, a lot of the strikers, then again, you can't compare it because we don't really create anything for our strikers. The only positivity, as I see, is the new guy, the new boy, Okonda. He looks pretty good. He can actually complete a pass and actually can pass the ball pretty well, but there's no one there. The rest of the team are rubbish. The rest of the team are dog shit. A part of my French here, but who have we actually brought in? We've got a new keeper in. I think we made a bit of an upgrade on Jack Butland. Fair play. At right back, we've got Ross McCrory in. Now, when we signed Ross McCrory, I said, I don't mind Ross McCrory as a player, but he won't be starting week in and week out for us at right back. And now he's our first choice right back going into this season. Wasn't started today. In fact, we played a midfielder at right back because he was that poor of a signing, Ross McCrory. Yes, to bolster the squad. When he came in, I thought, yeah, Ross McCrory is a squad player. Fair play. No, we're starting him week in, week out. Defense is shambolic. I don't really like Fernandez. He doesn't do enough for me. I like Rumans, but the rest of the midfield, nothing's created for this team. We don't create chances. And it's the same crap like we saw last season, the season before that, the season before that, the season before that. I can only think 2021, 2022 was the last time we were fairly clinical. We had players who could actually score goals. I don't see anyone scoring. Oh, maybe Antonio Sholak in the 22-23 season. But our strikers don't score goals. And if you want to look across the road, and I hate doing this every single year, but there'll be a lot of Celtic fans probably tuning in, probably. But they've just signed a player for 11 million quid. And people, I seen lots of people going, mocking him out. He won't be able to do outside Bodo Glimt. He's went and scored a hat-trick today. So, look, people can get it right. People can mock Celtic's recruitment now and then, but they always seem to get a striker that scores goals all the time because their system actually provides and creates chances for their goal scorers. I'm seeing people on X was, any striker could score the goals that this Ho guy scored today. And it's all well and good saying that, but at least their players create chances to get him into the positions to actually score those easy goals. We can't get the ball into areas to create those easy chances for our strikers. We're pish. We're crap. Going forward, we're always toothless. Toothless is the term I've kind of coined over the last 4 years. It's been a long time, troops. It's been a long time since we're doing these shitty match reactions, and they're the same every single time. I'm sick of it. I'm genuinely falling out of love of watching Rangers. It's just so hard to watch. It's really, really hard to watch. And the same season, I get optimistic. Well, it's that meme. I think a Celtic fan must have made that meme where it was like the clockwork thing of like what happens with Rangers. And at first, I kind of laughed it off. But it's funny how true that meme actually is, because that's probably summing up my life. I start the season. We always say, oh, we're not too far away from Celtic. We kind of look over the fence to see what they're doing a little bit. We all get optimistic. We buy some players. We have a new manager. And then we go into the season. We start badly. We always start badly every single season. Every single season. I can't remember the last time we won the first game of the season. Every season we start badly, really badly. And then, it kind of gets to November where it becomes unbearable. Then we sack the manager. Then we bring in a new manager. All of a sudden, we always get that new manager bounce. And he's a genius. And then we end up getting a bit of optimistic. We go into a January window. We usually maybe buy a player or two, and everybody's like, yes, we're back. We're going to be good. Let's just see how we get on to the end of the season. When we start the new season again, we're going to be great under this new manager. And then we get to the end of the campaign. We maybe beat Celtic in a meaningless old firm derby. We go out. We don't win anything. And then it gets to the end of the campaign. Celtic win the title. And then we're like, wow, it's okay. With a few players here, we'll be ready to go again. And then it's the same shit every single year. It's frustrating as to how that meme has just kind of like become the truth. It's shocking. But look, I wanted Derek McInnes in, and I'm not going to shy away from that. I thought, we can't go wrong with Derek. Yes, he did great at Hearts, and yes, he knows the league very, very well. Unlucky last season. But I don't see anything different. I don't see anything different from the last 3-4 seasons under Derek McInnes than under any other manager. Please enlighten me in the comment section. What has Derek McInnes done differently than all the other managers that we have had recently? It's the same shit. It's the same crap. It's always, we don't create anything. We're bad defensively. We don't create anything in the middle of the park, and we can't score goals. And that's it. There's not much more of a diagnosis of what we can talk about with this Rangers side. We're just shit. There's no quality. And we've had different teams, different players over the last 4 or 5 years. I genuinely think we're cursed. I think Benfica have a curse on European trophies for 100 years that's proved to be true. I don't know what freaking curse we've had, but we are dog shit. And we've got a curse on us. Anything that seemingly looks like I'm optimistic for ahead of a season or something good's going to happen, it's always zapped away pretty quickly. And I'm sitting here pulling my hair out, questioning as to what's going wrong. What do you do now? Everyone will go, well, that sacked Derek McInnes. Obviously, we're not going to be shouting that this early. But what do you do after that? Like, say if Derek McInnes gets to November, he's stinking the place out. Like, what do we do? Like, do we just pack up, call it a day? Like, it's getting to a point where I genuinely think we're cursed as a football club. And we've had different players come in. We've had different types. We've had different styles. And we've probably just got to let this one, we just got to go with it. We just got to go through the storm and see if it improves. But I hate to say the season's already over, but we're 5 points behind. We're 5 points behind. And it's the second game of the season. It's shocking. It genuinely is. How can it get even earlier where I'm calling the end of the campaign every single season? Russell Martin was shite last year, but I think he drew his first 2 games, if I'm right. We've now lost and then drew a game. So we're further behind than we were under Russell Martin. And we're in the Europa League this year. And we're not even guaranteed to get to the next round of the Europa League. Ah, it's crap. It is bad. It's bad. Now Schmitty's is injured by the looks of things. I think he's probably tore his ACL. It kind of looked like that. It looked bad. So we're not going to be getting the money for him anymore. It doesn't look like anyone wants Raskin. So whatever we were waiting on in terms to get our transfer, dealings sorted, it's not coming because no one's paying the money for Raskin. And obviously Galatasaray are not going to be paying the money for Schmitty because that looks terrible, his injury. So I don't know. Can someone tell me who we've signed and how they make us any better? I do like the only positive I'd say is the new guy, Hokunda. He actually looks pretty good. Actually, I can see passes that he completes, which we've been crying out for a very long time. But then again, when I seen Gassama play for the first time last year, I was like, this kid looks pretty good. Then he started listening to whatever was happening at Ibrox, and then he just turned into be a donkey and was crap in the end. So, yeah, it'll probably be the same fate for Hokonda, probably, because, all our players are cursed, unfortunately. Shocking, it really is. Let's have a little look in the chat. I'm expecting a lot of Celtic fans, and probably rightly so. They're go. I mean, I think the open goal lads predicted them to finish third, which was wild. To be fair, I'm not going to make it. Celtic have won the league, in my opinion, again. People might say I'm throwing the towel, but we're here every year saying the same thing. It's just depressing to watch. I don't even know what to hang on to. The English Premier League hasn't even started, and it's already season over for Rangers. It's fucking shocking. It genuinely is. And if I don't laugh, then I'd probably cry because I'm getting pissed off. I've lost emotion in the terms of he scored that last minute goal there, Hibernian, and I just expected it. I just expected it to happen. I was like, we lost again. I just try don't let Rangers ruin your weekend. That's the moral of the story. Once you start, letting this mob let you down every single weekend, then, life gets a little bit better, guys. Life does get a little bit better, but still pissing me off. It really is. Get Tav and Goldson back. No, I thought that would be the cries. I always stood up for Tavernier every single time. You can say what you want about Tavernier, but he wasn't the problem with our team. There was a lot of fans shouting that Tavernier is this loser, and once he's gone, then this loser mentality will be out of the club. Tavernier, in that game, at least he creates chances down the right side. At least he actually gets direct balls into the area. At least he tries. At least he actually probably can convert some chances for us. And you're missing life without Tavernier now. Do I want Goldson back? No. I mean, he's old now and he's finished, but we need players. We need reinforcements. This is bad. It really is. Would have been raging if that penalty was... Yeah, I mean, look, guys. Okay, right. Obviously, that penalty wasn't a penalty. And that's not playing sour grapes. That wasn't a penalty for me. That was a shocking decision. But then again, it happened in the first 10 minutes. And I know that doesn't right any wrongs. But if you're ever a team, a Rangers team at home, and you want to win the league, you should surely be able to overcome a 1-0 deficit with 80 minutes plus stoppage time to play. So I'm not even looking at the penalty as the reason why we lost the game. That's not the reason why we lost the game. The reason why we lost the game is because we're shit. We lack so much quality and can't score goals for crap. That's the point. There's no one should be looking. Yeah, we know the Scottish referees are dog shit. And yes, I do usually blame the referees for certain things because they do make big decisions that go against us a lot of the time. But in this game, if we're sitting there and talking about a penalty in the first 10 minutes and saying that's the reason why we lost the game, then, it's over. You're at Ibrox. You got 80 minutes plus stoppage time to play against a Hibernian side that are okay, but we should be beating Hibs at home no matter what. Derek McInnes was unbeaten against Hibernian his whole career. 80 minutes to play, we should be still winning that game no matter what. Oh. Maybe drop the arrogance of thinking you will win the league. The version of Rangers are the Dortmund of Scotland. You know, it'd be very hard to disagree with that, Disco Seaman, funnily enough. You know, yeah, you're right. On modern history, I suppose you are right. What do you want me to say? I think you are. I think. No, you are right. We are the Dortmund. Of course, we're the Dortmund of Scotland at the moment. And even then, I don't think we are the Dortmund of Scotland. No, I was going to say Dortmund actually win things. We don't win anything. I think we just I suppose we are the Dortmund of Scotland. A big team, but win fuck all. Win absolutely nothing. The Rangers cycle, it's like clockwork. It's uncanny. And that's coming from a Rangers fan. You're right. And I used to laugh that off. And actually now I've started to see that thing come up every single time. I'm actually like, Jesus, that is real. That is what happens. And I don't like to mock my football club. Absolutely not. But that is real. That clockwork thing is actually sums up the state of affairs of what happens at our club. And I say things need to change, but what? We can't keep sacking managers every time. If there's somebody that you thought could get the job done, I've got, Celtic supporting friends, and they were like, Derek McInnes is a shout. That's a good coup for Rangers. That's someone that's Rangers needed for a long time. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with Derek McInnes, I don't think. But we're just cursed. It's like a poison chalice. Like, no one can get it right. No one can get it right. I don't know what it is. We don't need coaches or new players. We need psychologists. I would agree with that. Hardcore Haggis says, I'm not even surprised anymore. Been shite for years. Not won at Ibrox since. Man, that's a shocking statistic. That's a shocking statistic for any team in Europe. I know there's just been the summer break, but a side that's meant to be going out there and winning titles and, one of the biggest clubs within the country, we're not winning a home game since April, regardless of there being a summer break, is shambolic. I mean, the players, I just can't believe the recruitment. I don't know what the recruitment strategy is at Rangers anymore. I really don't. What is the recruitment strategy? What do we do? What is our thing? Because the thing is, since running this channel, I hear a lot of, Rangers does and, Rangers men saying, well, we need a lot of players that are in the team that get it. That term, that gets it, comes up a lot. And I do agree with you in some way, but, we've got a team full of gets-its and guys that are, Scottish Premiership players that know the league well. And they're not really doing that great. They don't look that good. It doesn't mean that that's the answer. I think we need an actual proven strategy. And funnily enough, people may disagree with this, but I felt we were going the right direction when we had that Niels Koopman in charge. Now, again, look, he didn't get everything right, but we actually had someone that it almost seems as though we had a bit of a strategy with our recruitment, that we were going after certain players with, resellable, etc. But after that, I just feel like we've not really had a direction. Has this been Derek McInnes just choosing who he wants? Oh, I want Ross McCrory in because he's a captain. He's a leader. I know him. He gets the league. He gets the club. Devlin, I'm not that bad against Devlin. I think he's actually good. I like the spirit and the hard work that he does, but it's just another one of those players. I know they're free transfers, but still, it's like you need more quality. You said this, we were in shit state towards the end of last season. And we needed, open heart surgery on that team to really cure that, get rid of those losers and, people that bottled the title for us, essentially. Lost 4 games in the post-split when we had a real chance of winning the title. They needed to be ousted. But I just look at the team as, who have we got? Who have we signed? A lot of these free transfers are, fair one. Like, I liked it when you're like, bring Shanklin then. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. It's a free transfer. Devlin, cool, he's a free transfer. Ross McCrory, okay, he's a free transfer. These are okay players. But in and around the squad, I didn't think they were going to be our star signings for the summer transfer window. We needed a lot of players to be brought in through the door. Some quality as well. And now we're just leaving our business right to the end. And I hate to say it, it seems as though it looks already too late. It looks too late. I don't like to chuck my toys out of the pram and, I start greeting over this, but 5 points behind already. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. You English, mate, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I know, mate, but my family is Scottish. Sorry about the accent. Doesn't mean I don't love Rangers as much as you. Jesus. Um, the league is done already. Philip Sorrow says it's beautiful being a Celtic fan. I mean, the thing is with the Celtic lot is that you lot don't take this stuff. So if you don't see, people will mock you, by the way. And I have laughed at some of the scenes I've seen outside Celtic Park, like in December, that time that you chased Santa out. But I tell you what, you put pressure on the people in charge. And you may not like the board at Celtic, but you actually do get them to pull their finger out their arse when you do these, you know, people will call you spoiled and all the rest of it, but it works. Whatever you do when you chase people out of Celtic Park, it actually works because you end up getting what you want. And then you end up going on to win another league title and, winning trophies and stuff. So maybe we need to take a leaf out of your book. Start chasing people out the door and things like that. And, start voting with our feet a little bit. I like the look of Andrew Kavanagh, but it seems, it kind of looks like we're a bit rudderless. We don't really know what we're doing as a club. I don't get it. I don't get what our transfer strategy is. I don't get what we're trying to do. I don't get what our style of play is. Are we just bringing players because they get it? I don't get it. I don't get where we're at. I think we need quality. We need to come into the modern world. I don't know. But either way, we need to find a strategy and stick with it for a considerable amount of time because we keep on, ripping things up every single season. And it's almost like Groundhog Day every single season. We sit here every single season saying the same thing. So, at some point we do have to stick with what we're trying to do and hope that we come out the other end and push forward. But I don't know. I think getting rid of Danny Rowe would have been good, but I would have liked to have seen us been a little bit ambitious. My first choice would have been Muscat probably or Stevie, but I was happy when we got Derek, and I like Derek McInnes. I do. I actually think he would be a good fit, but I don't know. A lot of things need to change in and around the club. It's just, it really is. 13 titles in 14 years, helmet. Yeah, you're right though. But what I'm saying is I wasn't actually mocking Celtic. I was kind of giving you a backhanded compliment. I was saying, well, when things don't look like you're going to win a title, like you had Nancy brought in December and things went Pete Tong, you pushed him out of the club. And when Celtic weren't spending money in the transfer windows and gave you a shit hand last summer, you were voting with your feet and all the rest of it until you spent some money. And then the season before that, I think you booed Santa Claus and you were voting with your feet there again. And then you brought players in and then you went and won the title again. So whatever you do, it works. I don't know. I don't even know what Celtic's strategy is, but they don't really need a strategy. It just kind of pulls it off and wins the league every year. I mean, I would trade my position with you guys any day, probably. I'd love to see my team win 13 out of 14 titles, obviously with Rangers, but I don't know, man. It's depressing. It's a depressing game. It really is. How do you like Rangers? Sounds like you should be at the rugby. Yeah. Well, family is Scottish. My dad was in the army, my family is Scottish, but my dad is in the military, and I grew up in a place called Surrey, so I got a kind of well-spoken English accent. But that's just because of school and stuff like that. I'm not a private school kid. I just lived in Surrey, so yeah. Sat the whole board. What does people think of 49ers? What do you guys even think of the 49ers? Are they good? Ho, 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 he's magic. Yeah, because you're spending money on a good player. 11 million quid. There you go. That's what you get with quality. When you buy quality, like what was stopping us from getting him as a signing? Again, I'm not looking and trying to copy other teams' homework, but what was stopping us from identifying that as a signing and going for it? We pay the same wages as Celtic. We have the same, fees as Celtic. In fact, I would say we have more money than Celtic with our owners. So what's stopping us from identifying him as a potential signing and player? But then again, it never works with us because if we signed him, he would be shy because he wouldn't get the delivery. So it's me saying, oh, we could sign these players. I think if you had a couple of our players and we had a couple of your players, I just think our club's cursed So even if you did bring, even if we did bring in that hoe, we spent 12 million quid on him, gave him some extra wages, he wouldn't work out and be good for us because we just wouldn't be able to create chances for him. So yeah. Derek is a good fit. Loser for loves a loser. I mean, I like. To be fair, Derek's a good manager. You know, it all sounds great because you see all the work he's done with certain clubs and stuff like that. You could probably say, yeah, bottled it on the last season. But then again, whilst you guys have been giving me hard, I would say, you know, Hearts should have won the title if things happened correctly. That Motherwell game at the last season, that penalty right at the end of the game, that was the difference between winning the title and not. And it was Hearts' title. If you didn't get that penalty, which wasn't a penalty, then Hearts would have won the league. So sometimes refs do play a little bit of a part in it. But then again, look, I don't want to be a sore loser. It is what it is. But I think if you look back, that was a pivotal moment. Good luck on your depressing journey, brother. We're depressed again. I know, man. I know. It's shocking. It's shocking. It is. And as I'm approaching the big 3-0, we've done this stuff for a long time, guys. I think it's one season I've had a good time. Rest of the season's freaking hard. No it's or buts. Recruitment needs to go. Who's doing the recruitment, though? Who is the people behind the recruitment? We chucked out that Felwell last year, didn't we? We chucked out the other guy who was making signings that didn't actually turn out to be that bad in the end. Committee nearly getting us a record signing. I think we do. Look, I love Rangers fans. I think we've got some of the best supporters in the world when it's going right. But I do think we are a fickle bunch, and me included as well. I do think we can be quite fickle. We're, you know, easily panicking and pushing buttons and, you know, booing and all the other sort of stuff. It can be quite toxic, actually. But yeah, I think I don't even know. I've got no answers. No answers whatsoever. I'm simply depressed. League is completely over. It's a terrible start. Mate, it is. And I know people will go, oh, what happened last year? But we still didn't win the title, did we? Even though we did have a stinking start. But why do we give ourselves this? Oh, don't worry, it's going to get good. Yeah, right. It's going to get good. Cool, right? But what are we going to win this year? Fuck all. Oh, we'll finish 5 points behind Celtic or something. Yeah, we might get good again. We might win the first Alpha. I don't know, but I sound like I'm chucking toys out the pram. And it does sound like I'm a bit of a crybaby. But at what point can you be optimistic when you draw and then lose the first 2 games of the season? And not to be disrespectful, against 2 sides that weren't very good last season. And I know, look, they've had a summer to do certain things. Hibs were very inconsistent, but we're losing at Ibrox. And then even then, we score the equaliser towards the end, and you're thinking, we've got the crowd behind us. Get the wind in the sails. Go create something. Go steal the winner. But even then, I just felt Hibs were going to the team that were going to win. Shocking. Rest. Done with it. But anyway, I need to see what Derek said. I think it wasn't a penalty today for Hibs. It's unbelievable, ref again. Yeah, but as I said at the start, bro, it's like, I agree. It was a shocking decision. But if you're a Rangers fan blaming on the reason as to why we lost the game from a penalty in the first 10 minutes of the match, then that's a bigger issue. We got 80 minutes at home. That penalty shouldn't even matter. We should be able to give Hibs a 1-0 head start, and we should still be winning games. But we don't. But yeah. Guys, I'm going to dip. I'm going to have a little listen to see what Derek said. I've been streaming for a while, but look, we'll come back soon and see what happens. But guys, do let me know your thoughts.